Imagine a lively party filled with young, promising individuals, a setting where dreams float freely and the night promises nothing but youthful revelry. Now, picture this scene shattering into a nightmare, one where 5 lives are brutally extinguished before dawn. This is not just a somber story. It's a horrifying reality that occurred on April 15, 2014, in Brentwood, Calgary, forever marking it as one of the most shocking massacres in Canadian history. This documentary-style essay delves into the Brentwood Five massacre, exploring the psychological depths of the perpetrator, the indelible scars left on the victims' families, and the broader societal implications of such a heinous crime. The Brentwood house party was supposed to be a casual gathering. Friends came together to celebrate the last day of classes at the University of Calgary. Among the attendees were Katie Paris, Lawrence Hong, Josh Hunter, Zachariah Rathwell, and Jordan Segura, each a beacon of potential. The mood was light, with laughter echoing around the fire pit and through the halls of the suburban home. Then, Matthew DeGrood arrived. Invited by a roommate, his behavior was initially unremarkable, albeit slightly odd as he engaged in conversations peppered with conspiracy theories. As the night unfolded, his demeanor grew increasingly bizarre. He donned surgical gloves, spoke of vampires, and hinted at an apocalypse. None could have predicted the violence that would follow. Just past 1 a.m., DeGrood's behavior took a lethal turn. He seized a large chef's knife from the kitchen and, without warning, began his attack. Zachariah Rathwell was the first to fall, followed by the others as DeGrood moved methodically through the house. The chaos erupted into screams and desperate attempts to escape. The returning group from a fast food run walked into a scene of carnage, witnessing the tail end of the rampage and Matthew chasing a wounded Josh outside. Law enforcement swiftly apprehended DeGrood near the scene. Found with odd items like garlic and surgical gloves, his nonsensical mutterings about vampires and apocalypse painted a clear picture of his mental state. The community reeled as the details emerged, grappling with the randomness and brutality of the assault on 5 of its bright young citizens. Matthew DeGrood's trial revealed a troubled mind believed to be in the throes of a severe psychotic break. Diagnosed with schizophrenia, he was described by psychiatrists as delusional, convinced he was acting in self-defense against perceived demonic entities. This condition led to his plea of not criminally responsible due to mental disorder, a verdict that placed him in a psychiatric care facility rather than a prison. The psychological analysis delved into how a mind could warp to the extent of committing such violent acts while under the influence of untreated mental illness. It also sparked conversations about the importance of mental health awareness and the mechanisms of care in preventing future tragedies. The ripples of the Brentwood Five massacre spread far beyond the immediate horror of the crime scene. Each family was left to navigate a world irreparably altered. The public mourning was palpable, as was the outpouring of support for the bereaved. However, the overarching question remained: how could this have been prevented? This incident underscored critical gaps in mental health support and crisis intervention, prompting calls for systemic changes. Moreover, the case influenced legal and psychiatric discourse on how the justice system handles individuals deemed not criminally responsible. The balance between public safety and the treatment of mental illness remains a contentious issue, highlighted during each annual review of DeGrood's status. Throughout the narrative of the Brentwood Five, several theories have surfaced regarding potential signs and triggers of DeGrood's breakdown. Was there something that could have been seen? Could the tragic end of these promising young lives have been averted? These questions haunt the corridors of Calgary's collective memory, serving as a grim reminder of the fragility of peace. As we reflect on the Brentwood Five massacre, we are left to ponder the nature of justice in the face of incomprehensible violence. Is it possible to reconcile the need for safety with compassion for the mentally ill? As Matthew DeGrood continues to receive treatment, the families of his victims strive to move forward from a night that forever altered their lives. This story serves not only as a chronicle of a devastating crime, but as a call to vigilance on mental health, community safety, and the profound effects of both on society at large. Could understanding the depths of one disturbed mind prevent another tragedy? Perhaps. But as we seek answers, the shadows of the Brentwood Five linger, reminding us of the cost of overlooking the signs that precede disaster. As we conclude our exploration of the Brentwood Five massacre, it is imperative to reflect on the multifaceted impacts of this tragedy, not only on the immediate families of the victims, but also on the broader societal structures. This case serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities within our social and mental health systems and prompts a necessary discourse on how we can better safeguard against similar tragedies. The Brentwood Five massacre, with its senseless violence and profound loss, stripped away the facade of safety and predictability in the suburban community of Calgary. The victims, young individuals with promising futures, became symbols of a night where everything that could go wrong did, leaving behind a community grappling with grief and disbelief. The massacre didn't just end lives. It shattered the sense of security that many of us take for granted. It left parents without children, friends without companions, and a community forever scarred by the events of one horrific night. The psychological analysis of Matthew DeGrude brought to light the critical gaps in mental health awareness and intervention. His undiagnosed and untreated schizophrenia, which culminated in a delusional belief that led to the tragic events, highlights a significant issue: the need for more robust mental health services and earlier intervention strategies. It raises important questions about the detection of mental health issues and the mechanisms in place to prevent those suffering from harm or harming others. How many more must suffer before adequate changes are made? Moreover, the legal outcome of the case, DeGrude being found not criminally responsible due to mental disorder, sparked a complex debate on justice and safety. It forced us to confront uncomfortable questions about the balance between compassion for those with mental illnesses and the need to protect society. This verdict also opened discussions on the effectiveness of the legal system in addressing cases where mental health plays a significant role. What does justice look like for the victims' families? And how does society reconcile rehabilitation and punishment? The annual reviews of DeGrude's status as not criminally responsible keep this case in the public eye, serving as a recurring reminder of the tragedy. Each review raises the specter of his potential release, igniting community fears and anxiety. This ongoing process reflects the broader challenges faced by society in dealing with individuals who commit violent acts under the influence of severe mental health disorders. Are we prepared to reintegrate someone like DeGrude back into society? And if so, how do we ensure it is done safely? Furthermore, the Brentwood Five massacre is a call to action for community engagement and support. It underscores the importance of community awareness and the role of every individual in supporting those around them. Perhaps with a more vigilant and supportive community network, signs of impending crisis can be detected and addressed sooner. In closing, as we ponder the legacy of the Brentwood Five massacre, we are reminded of the fragility of life and the importance of compassion in our justice system. We are compelled to ask ourselves, how can we build a more resilient society that is better equipped to handle mental health crises? How do we honor the memories of those lost by ensuring that no other community has to endure such a devastating loss? The answers to these questions are complex and require a commitment from all sectors of society: government, healthcare, education, and every individual. The Brentwood Five will forever be remembered, not just for the tragedy that took their lives, but also for the lessons they impart about the depth of human frailty and the profound need for a compassionate and proactive approach to mental health. Let this case be a catalyst for change, driving us towards a future where such tragedies are less likely to occur.